Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
Be greater in scope or size than some standard. Their loyalty exceeds their national bonds. Be superior or better than some standard. She exceeded our expectations. Be or do something to a greater degree. This exceeds all my expectations. Move past. One line of soldiers surpassed the other. Be greater in scope or size than some standard. Distinguish oneself. Be or do something to a greater degree. Her performance surpasses that of any other student I know. Be greater in scope or size than some standard. Be superior or better than some standard. Move past. Be superior or better than some standard. Pass beyond limits or boundaries. Be superior or better than some standard. Move past. A black limousine passed by when she looked out the window. Eliminate from the body. Grant authorization or clearance for. A usually brief attempt. Success in satisfying a test or requirement. His future depended on his passing that test. Come to pass. Of advancing the ball by throwing it. A team with a good passing attack. Pass from physical life and lose all bodily attributes and functions necessary to sustain life. A document indicating permission to do something without restrictions. The media representatives had special passes. Cause to pass. She passed around the plates. Be superior or better than some standard. Transmit information. Pass along the good news. Go unchallenged. Be approved. Pass over, across, or through. Place into the hands or custody of. Sports. The act of throwing the ball to another member of your team. The pass was fumbled. Pass into a specified state or condition. Make laws, bills, etc. or bring into effect by legislation. They passed the amendment. A difficult juncture. A pretty pass. Stretch out over a distance, space, time, or scope. Run or extend between 2 points or beyond a certain point. A permit to enter or leave a military installation. He had to show his pass in order to get out. Pass by. A bad or difficult situation or state of affairs. Travel past. The sports car passed all the trucks. Disappear gradually. The pain eventually passed off. American football. A play that involves one player throwing the ball to a teammate. The coach sent in a passing play on 3rd and long. Baseball. An advance to first base by a batter who receives 4 balls. The location in a range of mountains of a geological formation that is lower than the surrounding peaks. We got through the pass before it started to snow. An automatic advance to the next round in a tournament without playing an opponent. Go successfully through a test or a selection process. She passed the New Jersey bar exam and can practice law now. Be inherited by. Use up a period of time in a specific way. Any authorization to pass or go somewhere. The pass to visit had a strict time limit. Accept or judge as acceptable. The teacher passed the student although he was weak. A complimentary ticket. The star got passes for his family. A flight or run by an aircraft over a target. The plane turned to make a second pass. Allow to go without comment or censure. The insult passed as if unnoticed. Go across or through. We passed the point where the police car had parked. Military, a written leave of absence. He had a pass for 3 days. One complete cycle of operations, as by a computer. It was not possible to complete the computation in a single pass. Throw, a ball, to another player. Smith passed. Transfer to another, of rights or property. Our house passed under his official control. Be the culminating event. The first half of an inning, while the visiting team is at bat. A relief pitcher took over in the top of the fifth. Pass by, over, or under without making contact. The balloon cleared the treetops. A canvas tent to house the audience at a circus performance. They had the big top up in less than an hour. A conical child's plaything tapering to a steel point on which it can be made to spin. He got a bright red top and string for his birthday. Be superior or better than some standard. She topped her performance of last year. Cut the top off. Top trees and bushes. Provide with a top or finish the top of a structure. The towers were topped with conical roofs. The highest or uppermost side of anything. Put your books on top of the desk. Be ahead of others, be the first. She topped her class every year. Covering for a hole, especially a hole in the top of a container. He removed the top of the carton. The top or extreme point of something, usually a mountain or hill. Finish up or conclude. They topped off their dinner with a cognac. The highest level or degree attainable. The highest stage of development. At the top of his profession. A garment, especially for women, that extends from the shoulders to the waist or hips. He stared as she buttoned her top. Be at the top of or constitute the top or highest point. A star tops the Christmas tree. Platform surrounding the head of a lower mast. Reach or ascend the top of. The hikers topped the mountain just before noon. Situated at the top or highest position. The top shelf. Strike, the top part of a ball in golf, baseball, or pool, giving it a forward spin. The greatest possible intensity. He screamed at the top of his lungs. The upper part of anything. The mower cuts off the tops of the grass. Be or do something to a greater degree. She outdoes all other athletes. Get the better of. Money paid out, an amount spent. Be or do something to a greater degree. Be or do something to a greater degree. Be or do something to a greater degree. This car outperforms all others in its class. Go far ahead of. Be or do something to a greater degree. Get on top of. Deal with successfully. Reach the highest point of. Be or do something to a greater degree. Be on top of. The scarf surmounted the gown. Distinguish oneself. Be highly noticeable. Be stubborn in resolution or resistance. Steer away from shore, of ships. Distinguish oneself. She excelled in math. Come out better in a competition, race, or conflict. Beat out a rhythm. A regular route for a sentry or policeman. In the old days, a policeman walked a beat and knew all his people by name. Come out better in a competition, race, or conflict. Agassi beat Becker in the tennis championship. Make a rhythmic sound. The drums beat all night. Avoid paying. Beat the subway fare. Move rhythmically. Her heart was beating fast. Be a mystery or bewildering to. This beats me. Wear out completely. I'm beat. Make a sound like a clock or a timer. The grandfather clock beat midnight. The rhythmic contraction and expansion of the arteries with each beat of the heart. He could feel the beat of her heart. Move with a flapping motion. The basic rhythmic unit in a piece of music. The conductor set the beat. Very tired. So beat I could flop down and go to sleep anywhere. Move with or as if with a regular alternating motion. A member of the beat generation. A nonconformist in dress and behavior. Prosody. The accent in a metrical foot of verse. Give a beating to. Subject to a beating, either as a punishment or as an act of aggression. Thugs beat him up when he walked down the street late at night. Move with a thrashing motion. The eagle beat its wings and soared high into the sky. Beat through cleverness and wit. I beat the traffic. Stir vigorously. Beat the egg whites. A regular rate of repetition. The cocks raised the beat. A single pulsation of an oscillation produced by adding two waves of different frequencies has a frequency equal to the difference between the two oscillations. A stroke or blow. The signal was 2 beats on the steam pipe. Be superior. Reading beats watching television. Glare or strike with great intensity. The sun was beating down on us. Hit repeatedly. Beat on the door. Indicate by beating, as with the fingers or drumsticks. Make by pounding or trampling. Beat a path through the forest. Produce a rhythm by striking repeatedly. Beat the drum. Sail with much tacking or with difficulty. The boat beat in the strong wind. Shape by beating. Beat swords into plowshares. Strike. A part of one's own body, repeatedly, as in great emotion or in accompaniment to music. Beat one's breast. strike, water or bushes, repeatedly to rouse animals for hunting. The act of beating to windward, sailing as close as possible to the direction from which the wind is blowing. The sound of stroke or blow. He heard the beat of a drum. Temporary love of an adolescent. Come down on or keep down by unjust use of one's authority. Come out better in a competition, race, or conflict. A dense crowd of people. To compress with violence, out of natural shape or condition. Crush an aluminum can. Make ineffective. The act of crushing. Leather that has had its grain pattern accentuated. Humiliate or depress completely. She was crushed by his refusal of her invitation. Crush or bruise. Become injured, broken, or distorted by pressure. The plastic bottle crushed against the wall. Break into small pieces. The car crushed the toy. Remove the husks from. Hard outer covering or case of certain organisms such as arthropods and turtles. Come out better in a competition, race, or conflict. The exterior covering of a bird's egg. The housing or outer covering of something. A metal sheathing of uniform thickness, such as the shield attached to an artillery piece to protect the gunners. Use explosives on. The enemy has been shelling us all day. Create by using explosives. A very light, narrow racing boat. Ammunition consisting of a cylindrical metal casing containing an explosive charge and a projectile, fired from a large gun. A rigid covering that envelops an object. The satellite is covered with a smooth shell of ice. Fall out of the pod or husk. The corn shell. Hit the pitches of hard and regularly. He shelled the pitcher for 8 runs in the first inning. Look for and collect shells by the seashore. Remove from its shell or outer covering. Shell the legumes. The hard, largely calcareous covering of a mollusk or a brachiopod. The hard, usually fibrous outer layer of some fruits, especially nuts. The material that forms the hard outer covering of many animals. Come out better in a competition, race, or conflict. Beat severely with a whip or rod. The children were severely trounced. Censure severely or angrily. Come out better in a competition, race, or conflict. Grow beyond or across. Become overgrown. Grow too large. Tennis. A score consisting of winning a game when your opponent was serving. He was up 2 breaks in the second set. Breaking of hard tissue such as bone. The break seems to have been caused by a fall. Enter someone's virtual or real property in an unauthorized manner, usually with the intent to steal or commit a violent act. Be released or become known, of news. Fail to agree with, be in violation of, as of rules or patterns. An act of delaying or interrupting the continuity. It was presented without commercial breaks. Lessen in force or effect. Break a fall. An escape from jail. The breakout was carefully planned. Interrupt a continued activity. Force out or release suddenly and often violently something pent up. Break into tears. Any frame in which a bowler fails to make a strike or spare. The break in the 8th frame cost him the match. Go to pieces. Ruin completely. Act in disregard of laws, rules, contracts, or promises. Break a law. Become fractured. Break or crack on the surface only. Do a break dance. Kids were break dancing at the street corner. Prevent completion. Break off the negotiations. Become separated into pieces or fragments. Make known to the public information that was previously known only to a few people or that was meant to be kept a secret. Terminate. Break a lucky streak. Surpass in excellence. Break a record. Discontinue an association or relation. Go different ways. The act of breaking something. The breakage was unavoidable. Happen. Break down, literally or metaphorically. A pause from doing something, as work. We took a 10-minute break. Stop operating or functioning. Fracture a bone of. Reduce to bankruptcy. My daughter's fancy wedding is going to break me. Assign to a lower position. Reduce in rank. Geology. A crack in the Earth's crust resulting from the displacement of one side with respect to the other. Break a piece from a whole. Break a branch from a tree. Make submissive, obedient, or useful. The horse was tough to break. A time interval during which there is a temporary cessation of something. Move away or escape suddenly. Nobody can break out. This prison is high security. A personal or social separation, as between opposing factions. They hoped to avoid a break in relations. Some abrupt occurrence that interrupts an ongoing activity. There was a break in the action when a player was hurt. Destroy the completeness of a set of related items. The book dealer would not break the set. Cease an action temporarily. Let's break for lunch. An unexpected piece of good luck. He finally got his big break. An abrupt change in the tone or register of the voice, as at puberty or due to emotion. Then there was a break in her voice. A sudden dash. He made a break for the open door. Be broken in. If the new teacher won't break, we'll add some stress. Become punctured or penetrated. Cause the failure or ruin of. This play will either make or break the playwright. Cause to give up a habit. Change directions suddenly. Change suddenly from one tone quality or register to another. Come forth or begin from a state of latency. Come into being. Come to an end. Crack. Of the male voice in puberty. His voice is breaking, he should no longer sing in the choir. Curl over and fall apart in surf or foam, of waves. Destroy the integrity of, usually by force, cause to separate into pieces or fragments. Diminish or discontinue abruptly. Emerge from the surface of a body of water. Exchange for smaller units of money. I had to break a $100 bill just to buy the candy. Fall sharply. Find a flaw in. Break an alibi. Find the solution or key to. Break the code. Give up. Break cigarette smoking. Happen or take place. Things have been breaking pretty well for us in the past few months. Interrupt the flow of current in. Break a circuit. Invalidate by judicial action. Make a rupture in the ranks of the enemy or one's own by quitting or fleeing. Make the opening shot that scatters the balls. Pierce or penetrate. Render inoperable or ineffective. Scatter or part. Separate from a clinch, in boxing. The occurrence of breaking. The break in the dam threatened the valley. The opening shot that scatters the balls in billiards or pool. Undergo breaking. Vary or interrupt a uniformity or continuity. Weaken or destroy in spirit or body. Avoid or try to avoid fulfilling, answering, or performing duties, questions, or issues. Surround so as to force to give up. Beat through cleverness and wit. Be braver than. Resist bravely. He outbraved the enemy. Utter aloud, often with surprise, horror, or joy. Shout louder than. A loud utterance, often in protest or opposition. Draw a gun faster, or best someone in a gunfight. Beat through cleverness and wit. She outfoxed her competitors. Outdo someone in trickery. Grow faster than. Grow too large or too mature for. I have outgrown these clothes. March longer distances and for a longer time than. This guy can outmarch anyone. Surpass in speed. Malthus believed that population increase would outpace increases in the means of subsistence.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.